Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone that you can. This video out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. All right, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come to the house. And the Indiana Pacers take care of the first part of home court advantage, coming to their home court, taking a 2-1 lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And hey, man, this is a really good series, but I just wanted to take a look at some of my favorite plays from this game specifically. So here we got double drag skip zoom. So Tyrese Haliburton, the Pacers love to get him on the move, and I just think he plays so much better in space and when he's not dealing with physicality. That's basically true for a lot of guys, but Haliburton, with his thin frame and not a guy that's gonna blow past you a lot of the times, he really thrives when he's able to get the ball on the move in this skip. So of course we got the double drag screens. This can also be called 77 in most cases, but here we got one screen by Ben Sheppard, and then the second drag screen is going to come up here by Obi Toppin. And then after that, we have the zoom / Chicago action. This is a dribble handoff in which somebody receives a pin down or a screen to go get a dribble handoff. So in this case, it will be Ben Sheppard setting this first screen for Tyrese Haliburton for him to go get this dribble handoff. And the skip, what the Pacers do, like, it is like a skip because he throws it a long way and then he goes to get it. But I believe this one is just called skip because it's a longer pass, but the get action works completely the same. It's when somebody passes the ball to somebody with the sole purpose of going and running to get the ball back right after they pass. So that can be also called throw and go. That can also be called chase action. It's a lot of things, but here Tyrese Haliburton skips it over to Obi Toppin. They get into a dribble handoff. He does a nice job of rolling to the basket, drawing Lu Dort and the attention of J-Dub here. And because he drew Lu Dort into the paint, that means Ben Sheppard's open. And because he's open, Lu Dort feels like he has to close out a little bit recklessly. Ben Sheppard does a nice job keeping composed, pump fakes, and mid-range. All right, so here the Thunder go to their stagger action. This is one of their most used sets. I was kind of discouraged by their creativity in the crunch time, especially with their offense, but we'll save that for another day. So here the Thunder start their stagger action with a little bit of a horns out entry. Quickest way to identify a horn set is two people at the elbows of the free throw line. Isaiah Hartenstein isn't like directly on the elbow because of the pressure by the Pacers, and he had to like set some screens backcourt just to make sure his guy got the ball up in time. So horns out entry is usually when somebody on one side of the elbow comes and sets a screen for the guy on the opposite side, and he comes out to the wing or over here to receive the pass. So that's exactly what happens. Caruso sets the screen for Isaiah Hartenstein, and then they get into the stagger action, which of course is named after stagger screens. Stagger screens are two of the same off-ball screens set with just a little bit of space in between them. So you see Alex Caruso and Lu Dort are facing, oh, that is an ugly. You see Alex Caruso and Lu Dort are setting the same exact screen with just a little bit of space in between them. And I love the stagger set because it's just so many things you can do out of it, just based on how the defense plays you. They can run stagger twirl, which would probably work good if this was like Isaiah Joe here instead of Alex Caruso, because Shai just garners so much attention. So we know that Andrew Nembhard is going to be draped on Shai. So if he twirls this and then he becomes the stagger screen, this Isaiah Joe, he comes out for an easy three. That could work too. Or they could just run this where Shai comes and he still twirls this, but he ends up just cutting right to the basket. There's just so many things you could do. But on this play, again, you see how aggressively Andrew Nembhard is playing Shai. So Shai ends up rejecting this and he ends up cutting. And this is where his gravity comes into play, because now Andrew Nembhard is lost because of that cut, right? He runs right into Lu Dort, which means that Obi Toppin and Tyrese Haliburton go back to Shai to try to stop this pass, which leaves a 2-on-1 situation. Now, if you're the Pacers, this is exactly what you want. You want Lu Dort and Alex Caruso having to create on the perimeter, but this does leave a 2-on-1 situation. Nembhard comes out to Lu Dort. Tyrese Haliburton does get back in time, but not in time enough to stop Lu Dort from shooting his three. All right, so the Pacers go to blob elevator. Blob is just an acronym for baseline out of bounds. And the elevator screen is my favorite off-ball screen of all time. So it's self-explanatory, right? You got two people here, right? You got Miles Turner and you got Obi Toppin. They're going to act as elevator doors, right? When you get on an elevator, it opens and you go through it. When you get on it, you press a button and it closes. So that's exactly how this works. The elevator is for Ben Sheppard to get on. So he's going to be allowed in the elevator, right? When he passes through, the elevator doors are supposed to close to allow nobody else to get into the elevator. So that's exactly what happens. I wanted Obi Toppin to get closer to Miles Turner to actually close the doors, but it was still really effective. Miles Turner sets an incredible screen, but Ben Sheppard just doesn't hit a shot. I said the Thunder just run a simple pick and roll, but it's the type of screen that Isaiah Hartenstein sets. So he sets a step up screen, right? A step up screen is a screen angled toward the opposite baseline. And this is one of the best screens as far as like the angle wise to get your handler going downhill and to get an automatic switch. Because let's say Isaiah Hartenstein sets the screen to the side of Andrew Nembhard. We know how hard the Pacers like Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith fight over screens, right? When you set a step up screen, right, and you're angled towards the baseline, there's literally no chance for this guy to get back in time, especially if it's a good screen set. Even if you don't set the greatest of screens, they are just gonna run right into you, and this forces whoever was checking the screener to really be able to guard. And when you got Shai going downhill, it's not too many that can stop that. All right, so this is the corner get action I was talking about, and they coupled this with a 45 cut. And this is a tale as old as time. TJ McConnell, Nash dribbling the baseline, and then somebody doing a 45 cut. This is like, they've been doing this ever since he's been here. And again, some people can call the get action chase. They call it throw and go. Whatever it is. So, and the thing I love about this play specifically is that this wasn't a call set. This wasn't something that they were going to run. They just end up running it freely. So again, got the pass, and TJ McConnell runs to get the ball from Obi Toppin. He sets a screen. Now, what's important about this screen is that it gets Chet. He's running around chasing TJ McConnell instead of focusing on protecting the rim, right? And you see what TJ McConnell driving to the rim and doing his Nash dribble does to the defense, right? You see how everybody's looking at TJ McConnell, right? You had Caruso with Siakam in the tunker spot, right? Siakam does a nice job of clearing out as soon as he sees TJ McConnell run to the paint, but Alex Caruso is still there for a couple seconds. Now, when TJ McConnell collapses this paint and he collapses the whole defense, he has five set of eyes looking at him. What these guys do that's not in the paint, their job is super hard because they have to see ball and man, but it's tough to do when somebody's dribbling on the baseline because your first instinct is to turn your back on the people on the perimeter. So that's what happens. And as J-Dub just turns around, it's too late. Aaron Nesmith has already crossed his face, and the 45 cut works to perfection. All right, so this action right here by OKC is called flat goals. OKC runs a lot of one screen actions, whether it's the step up screens, whether it's the simple pick and rolls, when they know teams are going to trap Shai so they can just get their playmaker into the short roll, or these flat goals. So of course, a regular ghost screen is when somebody runs up to the defender, they act like they're going to screen, then they ghost it and go to the 3-point line. What OKC does, right, is they just flatten it out. They have this screener, they just are standing flat, right? They come up to the defender, and they did this so many times against the Timberwolves with Chet, when it was a two-man game between either J-Dub and Chet or Shai and Chet, where they can take advantage of so many different defensive coverages. So if you switch, like, it makes the defenders think that one thing's happening and then another thing happens. So they see that the screen is coming, they get set to switch, and then this guy just goes out to the side, right? And then if you're a guy that's hedging, it's basically two guys because they don't want Halliburton on Shai. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna have Halliburton sit here for a second while Andrew Nembhard recovers over the screen. But if you do a go screen, that guy's not even there. So there's a split second where there's two people on the handler. Shai does a nice job getting it there on time. Because Halliburton is late, he feels he has to close out Legacy. Good pump fake and composure by Isaiah Joe, hitting a three. All right, shit, it pays to go back to that double drag zoom skip. But this time they started with ram action. Well, kind of ram action. So ram action is when somebody sets an off-ball screen for somebody to go set a ball screen. So Miles Turner sets the off-ball screen to free up Obi Toppin so he can come set this ball screen. Now, the reason I say it kind of is because it's not technically an on-ball screen because Halliburton gets the ball out before. So it looked like ram action. Let's just say that. But of course, we got the zoom. Somebody setting a screen for somebody to go set a dribble handoff. To get a dribble handle, sorry. And then you got the skip pass, of course, to Miles Turner to get Tyrese Halliburton on the move. You see what that does. And what I've noticed on this play is that it damn near creates drop coverage every single play, because even if the guy is to the level of the screen or really close to it, the speed at which Halliburton comes off this dribble handoff, coupled with what the Pacers bigs do so well, whether they're slipping or they're just rolling, they get out of these dribble handoffs and these screens super quick. Chet Holmgren has to do a lot, and then the help defenders of OKC have to also do a lot to help Chet, because this roll is getting out really fast. So Lu Dort comes over, and then this tag man here is Isaiah Joe with Ben Mathurin in the corner. So he's a tag man, right? He has to stop Miles Turner from getting a wide open layup. Tyrese Halliburton sees that, gets it to Ben Mathurin, and they get fouled. So of course we've seen the Pacers run that double drag zoom skip a couple times, right? So now they just go to regular double drag, which can also be called 77 action. Of course, you got one screen there and one screen here. And because they ran those previous zoom actions with the double drag, you can see how this affects Shai and Chet. So they're expecting Tyrese to either pass the ball here to Miles Turner to initiate that skip, or at the very minimum use this screen, because he's always coming off this like wing area right here. So just try to keep an eye on Shai and Chet while this is happening, right? So they see it, and Chet hugs Miles Turner to try to take away this pass. The first 2 times he wasn't able to do that, right? Shai also is drifting over to that left side. Tyrese Haliburton, great crossover into the floater. All right, here we got a very simple but effective play by OKC with 9 minutes left. Just a simple rip screen here for Chet Holmgren. The defense is not seeing this coming, especially with the Thunder using Shai as a screener. Got Shai setting this rip screen here on Obi Toppin, and Chet against Andrew Nembhard in the paint is no match. He ends up getting an easy layup. All right, so here OKC is going to go to slob screener, and they're going to use Shai as a screener again. So we saw on the last play where Andrew Nembhard did not want to switch on a Chet. He wants to stay on the body of Shai, as every defender should, because he's such a dangerous offensive player. So they go to set the rip screen again. Chet Holmgren is going to try to cut off this and be open, but now Andrew Nembhard already has that play in the back of his mind. So what's he going to do? He's going to drop back, and we're also going to have Miles Turner try to go back to Chet, because we know he doesn't want to check Shai. Now, I want Shai to get out of this a little bit quicker, because he has the space here as Miles Turner is running to Chet and Andrew Nembhard is on him. If he just runs right now, he can get a wide open look. But Shai takes his time, and then that's a screener action. We had Shai screen for Chet. Now we got J-Dub screening the previous screener, which was Shai. Shai comes off this pin down in order to get the ball and go to work, and Alex Caruso does a very important thing. Pacers, especially in crunch time, were sitting in 2 and sometimes 3 bodies at Shai. If Alex Caruso stays right here, Pascal Siakam stays right here, this cut by Alex Caruso eliminates the help on the left side, right? Now Shai has to go 5 seconds, but now he has a clear top of the key workout with Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard plays good defense, but Shai still creates. But that is a video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone that you can. Push it out there a little bit more, and I will see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.